Kentucky. But what I do is I try to play Robin Hood. So I go into these schools who can afford to pay for this platform, and I make a little bit of profit, and then I turn around and I go into the community centers, and we donate our time and we donate resources. So one of the things that I've done with Operation Literacy is working in these schools that can afford to pay to learn these skills. I have them design books and curate and donate books, and then we turn around and give them to the community centers that can't afford it, that don't have the resources. And then I go in and actually teach, they get these books that are augmented, created by students for students, and then we turn around and I teach the kids in the community centers how to make their own, like I did with the students in the schools that can't afford. So one session runs for like 5 weeks, and they create an augmented reality experience of a kid's book of their choice as a solution to global literacy issues while helping kids in the local community. So it's giving them that sense of give back while learning a valuable skill and leveraging empathy. And they can see their direct impact. They're invited to go and actually donate the books and read to the kids in the community center as well, and teach them how to use a device to unlock that hidden digital content. So they learn about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. They use the design thinking process to solve literacy issues, which is a valuable process in itself because it transfers over into everything that we do, from writing to art to work to classwork. They have to design surveys to inform what pre and struggling readers in the community want to read, so that use the end user in mind. And then they create an augmented reality experience using Metaverse. Then they share the books with AR enhanced content with local networks, and then donate augmented books to local community centers. So we're also partnering with local libraries as well, and the kids that design these experiences, their libraries in their schools are also augmented with that QR code to where their work stays in the building as well. So it's something that is it's very place-based, and what we're trying to do now is take it from a local level to a global level. So one of the ways we're curating all of the experiences is Metaverse has a collection. So as you see, I have independent reading collection. That was when I taught in ELA in school. So my students would go in and actually create AR book reports, and we put them in that collection. There's also Teaching Land. These are all the experiences created for that book. Zombie collection. And those are experiences that are created of other books, but I've already created a template. So teachers that don't know where to get started, all they have to do is clone the experience that I've already created. So our thing is like not recreating the wheel, but taking a wheel that exists and get it rolling in the way that you want to use it. So any questions? So there's the experience that I've created is the AR experience for the book, Zombie, a Design Thinker. They clone it and then they push it out to students, and students can go in and customize that for the book that they're creating, use the artwork. They can record their voice reading a book for each page, and then put their rendition of that page into the experience, so it automatically starts reading it to whoever launches that QR code. This is what the platform looks like behind the scenes. So it's a super easy drag and drop. You add a card, you customize the card. You want an image, you want to add sound, you want to add a frame. And the cool thing that I love about this platform is they have a photo wall. So as students read the book, when they get to the end, it prompts them to actually take a picture, a selfie of themselves with the book, and then it gets posted on a wall that anyone can see when they get to the end of the experience. They can see other kids who have read the book as well. So when they clone this experience, it creates this book that they want to create an AR experience for, that wall component is in there. So one of the pride points is if they get to go back and see other students who have read the experience they've created. And they get super excited about going in and actually seeing, oh, look, this person read my book and they took a selfie and I don't know who this is. So for someone that they don't know to have posted their photo versus like friends and family, they just get really excited. I know when I had students creating podcasts, I would call my friends in other states and I'd be like, hey, this student just made a podcast through Anchor. You can call in and ask a question. Would you please just listen to this, 5-minute podcast and call in and ask my student a question? And it's that same excitement to share your work with an authentic audience in the world. That photo wall had that same motivational piece that the questions from a stranger or someone that they didn't know. They felt like they were really putting their work out there. So to launch the experience, you just scan the QR code, and the whole platform, that AR platform with all the cards, they come to life and they pop up above the book. And this is the template here, and you can edit. It has edit, it has share, it has clone. So what you would do is you would go in to clone the experience, and then that's how they customize the actual book. So the next question is, how do we go from local? So I've done this pretty well at a local level. I'm struggling globally, which is why I'm here to talk to you guys, which hopefully you guys will join in on this mission and become part of this XR community, XR SDGs. So to tell you a little bit about what I wanted to do, goal number 17 is partnerships for the goals. And I'm here because I would love to create partnerships with those of you in the audience and just really anyone who is an evangelist of solving world problems and making the world a better place, which should be all of us. So how can we bring global educational communities together in virtual reality? So the next step, I started there's a very friendly educational platform called CodeSpaces.edu, and I'm in the process of building an SDG museum. So as students go in, and this could be launched on any device, a desktop, a headset, whatever. As students go in, all 17 SDGs are on the side, and then there are different areas in the virtual museum that are dedicated to each SDG. So one area might be poverty, and I've embedded the video from the United Nations on poverty. They're like 1 or 2 minute videos on each global goal. So students can kind of explore, and they can explore the different SDG that really tickles their fancy, that they're passionate about. Maybe it's maybe you're a coastal city. When we were in Savannah, we were big on marine conservation. So maybe Savannah, the STEM Academy in Savannah, wants to look at marine conservation, and maybe there's a school in Australia that wants to do the same thing and look at the coral reef. So then you get students from different parts of the world that are looking at the same issues, place-based, but then they're exchanging and communicating with students in different parts of the world and comparing their local problems to global ones, and looking at overlap and solutions. And so my goal is to launch this, to create a museum where students can go in and really learn about each one, and then create a resource for teachers too, that they can kind of turn their students loose and safely to explore these different things. And then all of those cards that have the questions and the 9 pressure points or points of entry to solving that problem, they can those are in the museum in that area for the SDG. And these are my students that I had in Dallas, the ones on the right, and they're in Rumi. And one of my proud teacher moments is I used XR, I used Rumi to take students with me to Australia to keynote on virtual reality and talk about how virtual reality is being used in the classroom. And it's probably the coolest thing I've ever done. I had 3 6th grade students co-keynoting with me and talking to an audience on virtual reality, and not, it wasn't just me talking about how I'd use it in my classroom, but it was my students talking about the power of using it and how they benefited from it. So using social VR like Roomy or AltSpace or any of the wonderful platforms that have been used this entire conference, I think we can really start building a community of innovative educators who are pushing XR and creating that global community to solve these world problems. There's mystery Skypes that go on in the classroom where two classrooms, they Skype with each other. Now imagine taking that to the next level with XR and putting them in an AltSpace classroom and then having them pair off, collaborating with the teacher ahead of time and pairing up students from one part of the world with another part of the world and having them having conversations on a topic and talking from a place of expertise on their local issues. And that's where I see the future of education going. That's what I want to push for, and I invite you to join me in this mission. Let's see. So I'm launching an XR design challenge for classrooms to actually come in and register their class and student teams. So they get to register their class and they receive an invite to join the XR Global Design Teacher Info Session in Roomy, which would be a meeting just about virtual classroom etiquette, and the sessions hopefully will be recorded. But this is the start of trying to get a global cohort of teachers to join that hashtag XR SDGs. Next would be to use that CoSpaces SDG virtual museum to introduce students to the 17 different sustainable global goals, or assign one specifically that align to their curriculum, and then introduce the design thinking process, either with my book or just period. You've got the QR code for the book would be readily available. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to really just make education better. The next piece, this is the design thinking process. So all of these tools would be made available. And then connecting educators. So the HSCs, ambassador cohort, they have cohorts to get involved with something world problem and getting education. That's for Jennifer Williams. Priscilla going. So this is a great way to connect students globally as well. Have their voices, have a global grid where students from all over the world weigh in on the different SDGs, how they're approaching that problem, what their prototypes may be, and having 5 different topics, the design thinking process for each 17 of the SDGs. So next would be to have time slots for students to meet virtually. So creating rooms for students to, under the different 17 SDGs, creating time slots or creating opportunities for teachers to connect and have their students meet in XR to discuss these problems. And I'm telling you, like, when students get to talk to their peers from different places in the world, we are expanding their universe. I had students that I taught in rural Georgia who lived 45 minutes from the beach, who had never seen the beach. So to be able to connect students outside of even that our geography zone to a global perception, making them globally aware and expanding their knowledge of geography, and not just geography, but the similarities and the differences of cultures is a super powerful thing that XR is bringing. I mean, we still have time zone issues. I can't fix time zones. I actually made a joke last week that, you know, some of us are just going to have to work in the dark. We need to go to the United Nations. We need to be on one time zone and just rock, paper, scissors to see who gets the daylight. But I I don't think that's going to happen. That would be funny though. Rock, paper, scissors. Yay. So this is me teaching students how to interact in rooming. Again, I'm not playing the video. The slides will be tweeted out and you'll have access to it. And the whole point is to teach them how to use these tools, because the future of work, a lot of people who are in development and coding and app design and XR work remotely. So it's important to be able to communicate in a virtual space, which is different than communicating in a physical space. And then finally, the last component would be either having students present their pitches to their prototypes via slide decks or videos, and having a big XR incubator to where students are invited to come in and actually giving a global audience and a global platform to present their solutions to world problems, and having authentic, like, judges who are from that domain, and maybe it's urban infrastructure. And students in Georgia, for example, looked at the transportation system, and they created a magnet train that would that would alleviate traffic congestion and accidents on the roadway, because the transportation system had a grade of a D. So they were coming in and trying to solve that problem. And they actually presented to the transportation department. So making sure that we bring in judges that are from that area and that domain of the problem that's being solved. And using CoSpaces as an option for younger students, Unity is an option to build simulations and solutions for older students, and then being able, again, to build a community that connects these students to experts in these fields, these developers that can pop in, because geography is no longer a constraint, and have them mentor these kids on the best way to take their ideations to actual working prototypes. So Merge has, or CoSpaces has the Merge Cube. Oh, thanks for letting me know. So my mic's breaking up a little, my apologies. Merge also has the ability to hold your VR creations in your hands. So this is kind of what that's there for. And then I've created a design thinking handheld portfolio with the Merge Cube and CoSpaces as an example for students. This is what it looks like. The QR code is available too for students to actually have the space and build. This would be an option for presentation to build the process of design thinking their portfolio into a handheld cube. And then I've taken the visual JavaScript, the Blockly code, and inside of the code of what I built, I inserted instructions like custom text. So there's instructions built into the code, replaced with text about your mode of design thinking. So instead of reinventing the wheel and having to create code from scratch, they're working with a working algorithm, working functions, and then they can go in and just customize it and see how their customizations affect the working product and the changes. And then finally, the final teams that are selected from the live XR incubator will move on to the panel of judges. And I'm hoping to partner with companies like Rumi and educators in VR. Hopefully they'll help get the word out and actually give back to the classrooms that are really doing fantastic work in this space, because resources and technology are hard to get your hands on. And the big thing is that you don't have to be one-to-one to do meaningful work in this domain. So that kind of concludes my presentation. So if you're interested in reaching out and you want to be involved in some capacity, I'm at Amanda Fox STEM, and I'm Amanda Fox at foxbright.com. And one of the hashtags we're going to be using is XR42. I'm working on a book at the moment with a couple of contributors, I can't say too much at the moment, but it's going to be an awesome year. So a lot of things that I've done in the virtual reality space will be in there. And to Michael Furcano, I don't if you guys know, he's amazing. Alex Chaucer. So definitely keep your eyes on the horizon for that. And we love working with the XR community. We want as many people as we can get involved to come in and get their hands on this project. So, any questions?
I'll just switch on the question and answer feature now.
Okay.
Okay, so you should now all have the option to raise your hand if you have a question.
Questions?
I think Joe, did you have a question earlier? I saw you raise your hand quite a while back.
Joe?
Oh.
All right.
Okay, we have Marcia. Is that? If I just put the megaphone on for you now. Okay, Marcia, can you speak now? Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm having trouble unmuting Marcia. 1 second. Right, I've just toggled all mute off, so Marcia, you should be able to speak now. Apparently that's not working.
Ready to shoot.
What about Joe? Can you speak, Joe?
Can you hear me?
How about
Yes,
this? If you want to carry on a conversation, I can go into the social area.
I think I'm live.
We have Joe now. Yeah, we can hear Joe.
Okay.
Earlier, you were just asking what brought us all here, and so I raised my hand to contribute. I think it was right at the end. So if we're past that, we can go past it.
Oh, no. Any questions? Yeah, let's know why you're here.
I didn't really have any questions. I thought it was really awesome. I'm not an educator. I own a virtual reality arcade that we've turned into a virtual reality learning center, and we're bringing students in from the local schools, and we do field trips, and we're looking to expand. I'm a huge believer in education and virtual reality. I'm trying to do my part to blend the two. And then my latest initiative, which I think is a really good way that we can kind of bridge this on two different sides. We're trying to get interns from the local college to the pre-education students to come down and to help me teach the courses and then build better curriculums, so that then, of course, when they go and get classrooms of their own, they would immediately have classrooms. So, I know that's the thing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so this is a great way to connect XR to meaningful applications and also content that are things that teachers are already trying to do. So I'm like a tech nerd and an educator and a writer. I basically, with all my powers combined, I'm trying to help education. Like that's my big passion.
Hello? Can
Yes, we have you.
All right. This is Mars. Yeah, right here.
Hello.
I just wanted to comment. It's not necessarily a question. I'm just fascinated with the summit, and it's what I call individual professional development. My goal. Not certification, but also rehabilitation and reintegration to the community with people who have been incarcerated. And these SDGs communities, I mean, they just fit everything and anything, whether it be the private industry, whether it be education, and I'm really fascinated with and I will be in contact because I've got lots of big plans and all of this fits right into it. Particularly me being a former educator where I actually stopped teaching high school for a while and took a break because it got boring, because it needed the attention span. And I think this will recapture it in such a magnanimous way. I mean, to have a student of mine collaborate with somebody in the other side of the hemisphere is just undreamt of. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any other questions? I'm fangirl and Carlos here. I don't know if you guys know him, but he is the president of the sector of BRI in Spain.
Oh, I see Carlos. Hey, Carlos.
Yeah, I just unmuted him. If you want to say hi.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, can you now I can hear you.
No, I gave you a shout out. I said I'm kind of fangirling here a little bit, but I see Carlos here, and he's the chapter president of BRI in Spain.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, I just wanted to give you a shout out. He's also an excellent resource for XR in the community, and he's doing a lot of work with evangelizing this technology. And he's what bi-weekly or bi-monthly meeting on Thursdays with BRI if you're interested in the education sector specifically.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Okay, maybe I can share something with you today because if you don't mind.